Welcome to Warhammer 40k lore in the Bible, where I take Warhammer 40k lore to help explain biblical lore. And today, we're going to be talking more about the ranged combat weapons of the Imperium. More on the explosive side, I guess, the bigger weapons. But anyways, the format that I'm going to be doing this video is I'll do the biblical stuff first, so that way I don't interrupt the flow, because it's just going to be a list, right, of going through these weapons. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to bring up 2 Kings 1:12 through 14. And Elijah answered and said unto them, If I be a man of God, let fire come down from heaven, and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire of God came down from heaven, and consumed him and his 50. And he sent again captain of the third 50 with his 50. And the third captain of the 50 went up, and came and fell on his knees before Elijah, and besought him, and said unto him, O man of God, I pray thee, let my life and the life of these 50 servants be precious in thy sight. Behold, there came fire down from heaven, and burnt up the two captains of the former 50s with their 50s. Therefore let my life now be precious in thy sight. So this is artillery fire, right? Now, of course, I brought this from my Warhammer 40k Space Marine, video, but I figured it was perfect for this. So now we're gonna get carpet bombing, I guess, if you want to call it that. So Exodus 9:23, and Moses stretched forth his rod toward heaven, and the Lord sent thunder and hail. The fire ran along upon the ground, and the Lord rained hell upon the land of Egypt. And if you notice, this is hell and fire ran along up the ground. Is this some big plasma ball, or what's? I don't know. Just interesting. It's kind of like a carpet bombing, I guess, of a city. So Revelation 8:7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. There it is again, the fire and hail. So what is this? Is this actual hailstones, or is this artillery of some kind, right? And they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees were burnt up, and all the green grass was burnt up. Sounds a lot like war, kinda, doesn't it? Alright, so Revelation 13:13. And he doth great wonders. So this is about, the false prophet, right? Great wonders, that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So, the other side has artillery. So, alright, now let's get into the weapons of the Imperium. The laser destroyer is based on an ancient and therefore fragmentary standard template construct, STCs. And if you don't know, STCs, I do believe, are kind of like data, basically, of the old world, of the golden age and stuff like that. I do believe that. Record of an upgraded las cannon with greater range and much broader beam, able to affect multiple targets. The distinctive long barrel and peculiar focusing optics of the laser destroyer make it sensitive to motion and quite prone to misfires. That would suck. Though the extra damage potential is considered to offset these disadvantages. The ancient rapier armored carrier is only one of the Imperium's many such technological relics. A bulky armored track unit which mounts a powerful automatic reactor. It is armed with a potent quad las cannon, commonly known as the laser destroyer. This weapon has become synonymous with the rapier armored carrier itself. The Graya pattern rapier laser destroyer is perhaps the most common design of this potent anti-tank weapon. The Lehman Russ battle tank. The Lehman Russ battle tank is another known mount for the increasingly difficult to produce laser destroyer. This rare variant of the Imperial Guard's primary battle tank, known as the Lehman Russ destroyer tank, Hunter, my goodness, is used for long-range precision sniping against enemy armor. As these tanks are difficult to maintain, nearly impossible to construct with the present degraded state of technological knowledge within the Imperium, they are seldom deployed in formations larger than a single squadron, attached to a larger formation only to deal with the truly threatening armored opposition. The Turbo Laser Destructor is a large and potent laser weapon, equivalent to a very large las cannon. In a sense, a turbo laser is to the las cannon what the battle cannon is to the autocannon. Excuse me. A larger, more devastating weapon based on the same concept. The weapon is most commonly seen mounted in pairs on Titans. Warhound class Scout Titans often carry a pair as one of the arm mounts, while the larger Reaver class Battle Titan sometimes mounts a pair of turbo lasers on each arm, and the Warlord class Battle Titan generally has a pair in each shoulder mount. However, the weapon is also used elsewhere. Some variants of the Space Marines Thunderhawk gunship carry the weapon, instead of a battle cannon, when engaged in ship-to-ship combat where a laser weapon is more useful than a battle cannon. Volcano Cannon is the most powerful ground vehicle-mounted laser weapon, and is used exclusively by Titans and the Shadow Sword, super heavy tanks. His massive gun is a Titan killer, capable of severing a Titan's arm or leg. It is primarily meant to target huge objects and obliterate them with a single shot. Such targets usually include other Titan-sized opponents and minor hive cities. For this reason, Shadow Swords are only made on Forge Worlds, which raise Titan legions. They are deployed to support Imperial Guard regiments which are likely to be faced with enemy Titans. The Volcano Cannon's huge laser is powered by a capacitors which draw power directly from the tank's engine. The generator and capacitors are constantly monitored by an engineer or a member of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Their job is to control the power flow from the engine through the generator, as well as keeping the tank running. Melta weapons. The principle upon the Melta weapons work varies in their depictions. Sometimes it is said to work by producing a small-scale fusion reaction using a pyrum petrol field mix. This is projected as a blast of incredible heat. In other cases, it is said to function in a similar way to modern microwave oven. Melta weapons have a short range but are very powerful and are favored for use against armored targets. In the Imperial Guard, they are typically fielded specifically for close-range anti-tank combat, particularly in urban environments. They are also of the three types of weapons favored by Sisters of Battle, along with bolt weapons and flamer weapons. As their name suggests, Melta weapons are capable of rapidly incinerating armor which would normally be immune to most squad-based weapons, obstacles, tank armor, powered armor, etc. Melta weapons are useful squad support weapons in situations where excessive firepower is an oxymoron. The Melta gun is commonly found special weapon in the forces of the Imperium. Common Imperial slang for Melta guns includes cookers or vape guns. Melta guns are common sight in Space Marine and Imperial Guard armies. Melta guns are employed in support role in Imperial Guardsmen squads. The weapon is, however, bulky and cumbersome over broken ground or swamp terrain. The extreme heat flare produced by the muzzle blast also limits the meltagun's use indoors or close combat or close quarters. While the technology may not be identical, analogies of this weapon and other factions include Eldar Fusion Gun and the Tau Fusion Blaster. Multi-Melta, also known as the Thermal Cannon, is a larger, longer-ranged version of the Meltagun. Unlike their smaller cousins, multi-Meltas are not commonly carried by infantry. The only foot infantry known to carry them include Sisters of Battle, Space Marine Devastators, Legionaries of the Damned, and the Servitors. It is more often found mounted on vehicles such as Space Marine Land Speeders and Sisters of Battle Immolators. The Infernal Pistol is a pistol version of the Melta weapon, but it is very rare. They are only available to the Ordo Hereticus and the militant arm of the Ecclesiarchy, the Sisters of Battle. Lord Commander Dante of the Blood Angel Space Marines uses an ancient version of this weapon called the Perdition Pistol, which fires with the same effect as a normal meltagun, but can still be used in close combat. Mentioned in the Soul Drinkers novel Hellforged, when the Archmagos gives one away, it is remarked that it is probably more valuable than any other weapon in the entire ship, including the ship's mounted weapons. In the PC game Dawn of War Dark Crusade, Captain Davian Thule can be equipped with the Infernal Pistol, although it is referred to as a meltagun. Other melta weapons for the melta bomb, see grenade section. Okay. Plasma weapons are a class of high-strength, armor-piercing energy weapons in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. They employ a magnetic field to accelerate a stream of pulse of superheated ionized gas towards a target. In smaller weapons, this gas would be generated when substances from two canisters mixed together. In universe, plasma weapons are described as being temperamental, and the technology to manufacture them became rather obscure for the Imperium in the middle of their history. In more recent times, these weapons are becoming better understood. Due to this, plasma weapons find regular use throughout the armies of the Imperium. Imperial plasma weapons are comparatively stronger than other races analogous, but this advantage is offset by poor cooling venting mechanisms. Plasma weapons using Imperial technology can build up dangerous levels of heat, which must be vented out regularly, or the weapon can seriously wound or kill the operator upon firing. In the second edition, Imperial plasma weapons, known as Mark II plasma weapons, had added safety and cooling mechanisms and did not suffer from the drawback. Instead, the user had to wait for the weapons to recharge, cool down, and stabilize between shots. Older plasma weapons, known as Mark I, still had the potential to overheat dangerously. The plasma is described as being a miniature sun, but has appeared as blue, green, or light purple in the case of Chaos plasma weaponry, seen in the PC game Dawn of War. Plasma Annihilator is the largest plasma weapon that the Imperium fields on planetary surfaces. It is essentially a dismantled battleship weapon. It is mounted on the Imperator class Emperor Titan and delivers sufficient firepower to destroy multiple enemy Titans in a single shot. It can achieve this legendary destructive potential destructive potential because it is fed directly from the massive plasma reactor that powers the entire Titan, enabling the princeps to divert power from other systems, usually motive power, in order to overcharge the weapon, though this decreases the life cycle of the components involved considerably. The Plasma Destructor. The Titan-sized Plasma Destructor is the second most powerful plasma weapon available to the Titan legions. It is only mounted or mountable on the Warlord Titan due to its size and massive power requirements. When this weapon is fired, the Titan is completely drained of all its energy, meaning that it cannot move or fire at all. And even when its generators are back online, the legs are still immobilized. This is usually only used when the fighting is fierce, or when the Titan has large backup of ground troops, armor, or other Titans to defend it during its downtime. The Plasma Cannon. The Titan Plasma Cannon is a upgraded version of the Plasma Blast Gun, only mountable on the Warlord class of Battle Titan, as only its immense plasma reactors are large enough to power it. The power requirements for this weapon are such that the Titan cannot fire any other weapons, but its movement is not restricted, giving the princeps a chance to fire, then seek cover. The Plasma Blast Gun. Among the largest version of the plasma cannons, plasma blast guns are the main weaponry of Stormblade super heavy tanks. They are also commonly mounted on the Scout Titans, such as the Warhound class, as one of the most powerful anti-tank weapons that those war engines can carry, while the Imperial Battle Titans, such as the Reaver and Warlord classes, may use them as well. These enormous double-barreled plasma weapons are capable of two firing modes: a full shot, which discharges both barrels at the same time, and a rapid shot, which discharges the barrels independently. A full shot is most effective against armored targets, and combined power of both plasma bolts is enough to tear apart any armor with ease. It also produces a large amount of splash damage, making it effective against infantry and formations as well. The rapid fire mode allows for the larger volume of shots to be fired more quickly, but at a reduction in its strength and area of effect. Rapid fire is more effective against fast-moving vehicles and large units of infantry, as the cooldown time is lessened considerably. Man, I really need to look at getting me a webcam so I can actually use my monitor. Sometimes it gets kind of hard seeing this stuff. But anyways, I apologize. The Plasma Cannon is a heavy weapon that relies on plasma technology to deliver lethal energy blasts, but also has another setting to allow direct shots against tanks and other large targets. It is much longer range than the plasma gun and has a wider blast radius. This weapon employs a shell that energizes into boiling plasma as it is fired. As with other plasma weapons, a massive energy drain is involved. Power reserves are enormous, but even so, a plasma cannon cannot be fired in rapid succession. Okay, we'll probably go a little bit. We'll go to the graviton weapons here, then we'll go ahead and end it. Plasma Destructor is a unique plasma weapon which is mounted in the Lehman Russ Executioner main battle tank. It is the most powerful plasma weapon aside from the ones mounted on the Imperial Titans, occupying a middle ground between the plasma cannon and the plasma blast gun. It is an extremely temperamental weapon that is often criticized by crew for being unable to operate in sustained engagements due to its massive power requirements. However, it is capable of penetrating most known armor, and its extreme destructive potential is the reason that many Imperial Guard commanders try to include at least one Layman Russ executioner in their armored formations. The plasma gun is a rifle-sized plasma weapon common to many of the armed forces of the Imperium. The plasma gun fires an energy shell of bright glowing plasma, which releases tremendous heat and energy when it strikes its intended target, destroying it in its almighty explosion. This results in the dual effects of searing heat and explosive shock, as its substance is instantly energized into boiling plasma. Though highly effective, the plasma gun loses its effectiveness over a long range and requires a massive amount of energy to power it. The plasma pistol. The plasma pistol is a shorter ranged, single-handed pistol version of the plasma gun. This weapon makes use of a microfusion nuclear reaction to superheat a cartridge of gas into the state of matter known as plasma, then release it in a concentrated blast of weapons fire using an electromagnetic bubble. The plasma pistol is most commonly carried by officers of both the Space Marines and the Imperial Guard. Aside from individual Imperial officers, some specialized assault troops, such as assault marines, are also sometimes armed with plasma pistols. The current standard of pattern plasma pistol in use by the armed forces of the Imperium Man is the Mark III Sun Fury. Alright, looks like next time we'll be talking about grav guns and getting pretty close to getting this done here. We're going to go through all of them. So, anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.